Ellam Ondre, written by Sri Ramana Maharishi, Subramanian, translated from the original Tamil version, All is One. Man court happiness and shun misery. It is the same with other beings also. This holds good for the common run of mankind, but the higher order is bent upon right conduct, enduring patiently the good or evil that it may bring. Fellowship with these will be lasting, whereas fellowship with ordinary people will not be. Good will result to the world through fellowship with the higher order only. The question then arises, what is right? The point is important, but the answer has not been found. Why? Because what is right is determined by circumstances. However comprehensive a work may be written on the subject, there will always be circumstances not envisaged by the author. Therefore, it becomes necessary to realize that state which will enable us to assess the various conditions and determine what is right. That state is one only. There are no states like it, although it is single. It is extraordinary that the worldly wise consider it exceedingly rare. Nothing can be more extraordinary than this. That unique state is very clearly taught in the Upanishads. Chapter 1. All, including the world seen by you and yourself, the seer of the world, is one only. All that you consider as I, you, he, she, and it is one only. What you consider to be sentient beings and what you consider to be insentient, such as earth, air, fire, and water, is all one. The good which is derived by your considering all as one cannot be had by considering each as separate from the other, therefore, all is one. The knowledge of the unity of all is good for you and good for others as well, therefore, all is one. He who sees I am separate, you are separate, he is separate, and so on, acts one way to himself and another way to others, he cannot help doing so. The thought, I am separate, others are separate, is the seed from which grows the trees of differing actions in relation to different persons. How can there be any lapse from righteousness for a person who knows the unity of himself with others? As long as the germ of differentiation is there, the tree of differing actions will flourish, even unawares. Therefore, give up differentiation, all is one only. Ask if in the world all things appear different, how can I consider all as one? Is there any way of gaining this knowledge? The reply is, in the same tree we see leaves, flowers, berries, and branches, different from one another, yet they are all one because they are all included in the world tree. Their roots is the same, their sap is the same. Similarly, all things, all bodies, all organisms are from the same source and activated by a single life principle. Therefore, all is one. O good man, is the statement that all is one, good or evil? Think for yourself, just as the person will always be righteous who regards himself like others and others like himself. How can any evil attach itself to him who knows himself to be others and the others to be himself? Tell me if there is any better way for obtaining good than the knowledge of unity. Certainly, other methods cannot be as good as this one. How can anyone love others more than when knowing them to be himself? To know them in unity, love as unity, for they are truly one. Who can share the mental peace and freshness of the knower of unity? He has no cares the good of all in his own good. A mother considers her children's well being to be her own well being. Still, her love is not perfect because she thinks she is separate and her children are separate. The love of a sage who has realized the unity of all far excels even the lover of a mother. There is no other means of gaining such love than the knowledge of unity. Therefore, all is one. Know that the world as a whole is your undecaying body and that you are the everlasting life of the whole world. Tell me if there is any harm in doing so. Who fears to go the harmless way? Be courageous. The Vedas teach this very truth. There is nothing but yourself. All good will be yours. Yea, you become the good itself. All that others gain from you will be good only. Who will work evil in his own body and soul? A remedy is applied if there is any abscesses in the body. Even if the remedy is painful, it is meant to do good only. Such will be the sum of your actions. They will also be for the good of the world. For that reason, you will not be involved in differentiation. I put it briefly, the knower of unity will act as one should. In fact, the knowledge of unity makes him act. He cannot err. In the world, he is God made visible. All is one. Chapter 2. You. Who are you? Are you this body? If so, why are you not aware of a serpent crawling on it when you are in deep sleep? So then, can you be this body? No, certainly not. You must be other than this body. Sometimes in sleep you dream. There you identify yourself with someone. Can you be that one? You cannot be. Otherwise, what becomes of that individual on your waking? You are not he. Furthermore, you are ashamed of having identified yourself with him. Clearly, you are not that particular person. You are the one that stands apart from him. Recall the state of dreamless slumber. What is your state then? Can that be your true nature? Surely you will not subscribe to this belief. Why? Because you are not so foolish as to identify yourself with the massive darkness which obstructs you from knowing the state you are in, discerned by the intellect from the things around. How can you admit yourself to be the same as ignorance or blank, or how can it truly be your real nature? It cannot be. You are the knower. You knows who knows that this state remains one of dense darkness veiling your true nature. How can you be that which you have experienced and condemned? Therefore, you are not the dark ignorance of deep sleep. You stand apart from this too. When it is said that even this gross body is not you, can you be any other thing which is yet farther away from you? In the same way that you are not this gross body, you are not anything farther from the body, nor the dream person, nor the ignorance of deep sleep. You are distinct from these three states and this world. These three states can be reduced to two conditions only, namely, the one of the subject and object, and the other is the unawareness of the subject itself. The former includes the waking and dream states, whereas the latter represents deep slumber. All your experiences are comprised in these two conditions only. Both of them are foreign to you. Your true nature remains distinct from them. If you ask, what that is, it is called Turiya, which means the fourth state. Why is the name used? This name is proper because it seems to say the three states of your experience, waking, dream, and deep sleep, are foreign to you, and your true state is the fourth, which is different from these three. Should the three state, waking, dream, and deep sleep, be taken to form one long dream, the fourth state represents the waking from this dream. Thus, it is more withdrawn than deep sleep, also more wakeful than the waking state. Therefore, your true state is that fourth one, which is distinguished from the waking, dream, and deep sleep states. You are that only. What is the fourth state? It is knowledge, which doesn't particularize anything. It is not unaware of itself. That is it to say. The fourth state is pure knowledge, which is not conscious of any object, but not unconscious itself. Only he who has realized it, even for a thrice, has realized the truth. You are that only. What is there more for him who has gained the fourth state? Practically, it is not possible for anyone to remain forever in that state. That is the state of no particular knowledge. He who has realized the fourth state later wakes up in this world, but for him, this world is not as before. He sees that what he realized as the fourth state shines forth as all this. He will not imagine this world as distinct from the pure knowledge. Thus, what he saw within, he now sees without in a different form. In the place of the differentiation of old, he is now established in the state of non differentiation everywhere. Now he is all. There is nothing distinct from himself. His eyes closed or open, howsoever the things may change, his state remains unchanged. This is the state of Brahman. This is the natural, eternal state. You are that ever true state. There is nothing beyond this state. The words, inward and outward, have no meaning for him. All is one. His body, speech, and mind cannot function selfishly. Their workings will be grace for the good of all. The fragmentary I is lost forever. His ego can never revive. Therefore, he is said to be liberated here and now. He doesn't live because his body lives, nor does he die because his body dies. He is eternal. There is nothing other than he. You are he. Who is God? He is grace. What is grace? Awareness. Without the fragmentary ego, how can we know that there is such a state? Only if one realizes it. The Vedas laud such a one as having realized God and become one with Him. Therefore, the greatest good that one can derive from the world and the greatest good which one can render unto it, it it is to realize this state. In fact, there are no states beside this. They appear in the state of ignorance. For him who knows, there is one state only. You are that. Chapter 3. God. Who is God? He who has transcended all that is seen by us. If transcending this world, is there no relation between him and this world? Not a particle here is unrelated to him. Then what is meant by transcending the world? The world comprises us and the objects seen by us. In other words, the animate and inanimate together from the world. What shall we say of him who created the beings and things? Of these two, we say the conscious being to be superior. All that we can apprehend is that he belongs to the highest order of beings known to us. Our intellect cannot proceed further. Thus, our Creator is superior to us. He cannot be apprehended by our intellect. Therefore, His name transcended being. Kadbal means he surpasses our intellect, hence his name is Kadabal, transcendent being. Can God then not be made known to us? Not quite so. In a way, he is known to us. This much of his grace is enough for us. We have no need for all his greatness. He has made known so much of his greatness as will suffice to eradicate our misery. There is no reason for him to reveal a lot more of his power than is necessary to remedy our defects in the present state. Thus, he is known according to our needs. Nay, he is in our grasp, however limitless. He is within reach of our knowledge to some extent. What is it which brings him within reach of our knowledge? That he is known as being consciousness, bliss. Being denotes that which is imperishable, that which exists forever. Should he become non existent at any time, who is his destroyer? Who created him? Since the perishable nature all leads to the inference that they are lorded over by one who is imperishable. This immortal overlord is God. His imperishable nature is being, Sat. Now, what is consciousness, Chit? By consciousness, we mean knowledge. This is absolute knowledge, and not like our erring intellectual knowledge, irregularly or mistake cannot stain its actions. It is knowledge, pure and simple. Frequently, he teaches us, saying, your knowledge is irregular and erring. How orderly are even the insentient objects of his creation. It is known to many how an atheist was taught a good lesson when he derided the scheme of things, saying, why did he make the seed of small for the banyan tree, which is so big that an insentient thing is found in good order and later becomes useful, implies a conscious agency at work. Can a simple insentient thing do something which is possible for unfailing knowledge only, or can't it be done by our inadequate knowledge? No, it can never be. Therefore, God is said to be conscious, Chit also. Now, what is bliss? It is the state of being free from desire for anything. It is peace which is ever full. Were he to desire anything, how could he be better than ourselves? How could we gain bliss from him? He himself would require another being to fulfill his desires, but who would think him to be so? The state of self contentment is that of bliss also. Therefore, he is called bliss Ananda. The three being consciousness and bliss are inseparable, otherwise, they would become naughty individually. Hence, he is known as being consciousness, bliss, Satchit Ananda. Thus, God remains not only transcendent but also falls within the reach of our knowledge as being consciousness, bliss. He who has gained the fourth state and sees all as one, only he knows God truly as being consciousness, bliss. Words cannot express, not the ears hear, how such a one is united with God. It is a matter of realization, but there are ways and means for such realization. They can be spoken of, learned, and acted upon. He who can be realized thus this is God. He has no name. We give him a name. He has no form. we give him a form. Where is the harm in doing so? What name is not his, or what form is not his? Where is the sound or form in which he is not? Therefore, in the absence of true knowledge of him, you can name him as you please or imagine him as of any form, so to remember him. Your hope for his grace without any effort on your part is utterly fruitless. Should it be possible to have his grace without any effort on your side, all would be alike. There would be no reason for any difference. He has shown us the ways and means. Make effort, reach the goal, be happy. Your idleness and selfishness makes you expect his grace without your effort. The rule for all is for you to do not relax your efforts. God can be realized by your effort only. There is an effort which excels all others. This may, however, appear to be less effective than devotion to God, with name and form. Nevertheless, this is the more efficient. It is simply the love which you extend to all beings, whether good or bad, in the absence of such love to all. Your devotion to God amounts to a merely parody. Of what use are you to God that you seek fulfillment of your desires from God without doing your duty towards the needy in the world must be attributed to your selfishness. In God's presence, there is no use for such. The workings that take place in His presence are all unselfish. Therefore, think that all the centers are His and He is in all the centers, and thus be devoted to Him. God is truly bound by such high devotion. As you go on ascribing names and forms to God and showing love to all, because you have understood all names and forms to be His, your mind will gradually mature, just as the taste improves with the ripening of a fruit, so also you will recognize the waxing of good and the waning of evil in you. As your mind matures, there will come a time when you should meet your master. This is not to say that you go in search of him or he comes in search of you. At the right time of meeting will happen. All are moving in their own ways. Your fitness brings you together, makes you trust him, makes him teach you the right way, also makes you follow his instructions. That is the straight way to reach God, which is to gain the fourth state. You will follow the way and reach your goal, which is being consciousness place, which is God. The way shown by the Master is final, straight, and making for unity. It is well tried, natural, and free from pain. When you are following the way shown by the Master, doubts will not arise. There will be no fear. Are not fear and doubt and characteristics of the ways of darkness? How can they meet you in the way of truth shown by the Master? In this manner, the way will itself speak to you and say it is the right one. In that way, there will be nothing more for you to do but to meet your master and learn from him. That way will be familiar to you as the master and God have made it so. Before you, he had treaded the way, he has shown you the way, and you are following him. To how many will you show the same way, and how many more will follow the same way later? Obviously, fear and doubt have no place in the way of truth. When once you have taken a step forward, you will step back. The Master's help is only for the first step forward. You need not to do anything for your Master in order to have the way shown to you. know him to be the messenger of God sent down to disclose the way to the fit who have become ripe by their own efforts in either or both the directions mentioned earlier. It is God who sends this godly messenger just when you are ripe. Practice with faith in the period of ignorance is called bhakti. The same with knowledge is called jnana. Of the two divisions of bhakti, the one is devotion to God with name and form, and the other is karma, which is love for all. Of the two divisions of jnana, the practice of the true way shown by the master is called yoga, and the resulting state is called jnana. It is natural for all to believe in something which is not seen and then to find it. Those who do not believe can never find. Therefore, the believers will gain something sometime on or other, and the unbelievers never gain anything. You can believe even for the simple reason that faith in God is not harmful. Thereby, you can share the good effects. The world is meant only for creating faith in you. This is the purpose of creation. Have faith and you can reach God. Through you may not believe all that is said of God, believe at least there is God. This seed is very potent in its growth. It is so mighty as to negate all else and fill all by itself. It is so almighty that you will not see anything besides God, not even yourself. Truly, God is all. Chapter 4, Peace. What is peace? Although the world persists when a man is in deep sleep, does he have any cares concerning it? His mind is tranquil and refreshed. Should his mind be in the same degree calm and refreshed even when he is face to face with the world and is active therein, then there is peace. Can the mind remain so even when the world confronts us? It depends upon our estimate of the world. The mind is more excited when one's own property is plundered than when another's property is similarly plundered. Of one's own things, the loss of one thing causes greater concern than those of another. Why? Because our estimate of things is the cause of the degree of the delight or anxiety concerning them. Therefore, should one learn to regard all equally, the mind will be extremely peaceful, or should all things be considered as our own and highly prized. Then, too, there is no cause for pain. Why? What will a man regret? The mind, which knows that universal concern is beyond its capacity, must needs become tranquil. Also, when one feels that one has no claim on anything or that everything is perishable, the mind will remain cool. Thus, there will be lasting peace if one looks on all as of the same value. Peace is dependent upon one's intellectual appraisals. I shall now illustrate this. A man wakes up from a dream. His mind is happy or troubled according to his opinion of the things seen in the dream. But on waking state, his mind remains unaffected by all the happenings in the dream. It remains the same. Why? Because only now his mind has learned to the value all the matters of the dream equally. He is not sorry for the cessation of the dream. Why? He is conceived that the dream is not everlasting and must end on waking. In the same manner, should a man be conceived that he cannot but wake up some time from the long dream of the world, his mind will be unchanging. It is the state of freshness. This is the state of peace. This is not to say that his relation with the world will cease. Now only peace and freshness of the mind are his. His actions cannot but vary according to circumstances. The only change in him after the mind has become peaceful is this: his mind has known the truth and become unattached Therefore, it rests in peace. His actions, though changefully, will always be impartial, but the action of others are changing and cannot be impartial. Thus, the coolness of the mind produces enormous good not only to himself but also to the world at large. Peace shows the way to right conduct. A man walks with a light lamp in his hand. Can there be any hostility between the light and the ups and downs on the way? There cannot be. But light and darkness cannot be together. The light chases any away darkness. It discloses the ups and downs on the way and makes the man walk carefully. Whether he moves up, down, or sideways, it removes the cause of vain complaints such as that snag hurt my foot or this hollow made me slip. Similarly, after peace is gained, the state of peace makes the man neither hate nor antagonize the world, rather, it dispels the darkness which conceals from our view the true nature of the world and its snacks. In the absence of the light of peace, which enables people to adjust themselves to varying circumstances, they condemn the world as full of misery as they would complain of the snacks on the road. Therefore, a man who has gained the utmost peace after knowing the whole world as a complicated dream should not be considered either unrelated to the world or unconcerned with its activities. He alone stands in effective concord with it. Only he is competent to be a man of action. Thus, peace is that which regulates one's duties. The concern of a man of peace in the actions of the world lies in rectifying them. Should he feel fear before this world, what hope of reformation can there be, especially from those who esteem it and want to possess it? They are in the grip of selfishness, blind to impartially to guide the blind on the way or treat the blindness of the eye. One's eyesight must itself be good. Similarly, it is for him to reform the world who has already discerned his unchanging nature for the changeful nature of the world and become peaceful. These cannot help serving the world. Why can anyone be so hard hearted as not to lift up as a child when it sleeps and falls? So, also for the wise one who can rightly appraises the troubles of the world and help the people because he has already withdrawn himself from the mind and the body, the sages feel no concern under the strain of service to the world, just as the life principle doesn't suffer even when loaded carts pass over the corpse it has left behind. He will not shrink from work or trouble. Only truly realized peace can bestow such courage.